You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hi, I'm Mitch.
And I'm Davey.
And we are
the Bargain Bin Gamers. Oh, professional media pass podcasters to the world.
To the stars.
To the stars.
AKA our indie dev friends.
I know. That's right, everyone. This is the podcast YouTube show, and that's it, where we put the gay in gaming.
While also looking after your hip pocket.
Yes, that hip pocket of yours. I bet it's feeling just well and truly tended to.
Well, it's getting ready for the silly season, so I sure hope it is.
Whoa, we can have a silly season with your hip pocket. Don't you love how as gays we can turn anything into an innuendo?
I think, unfortunately, it's part of the passing test of being a gay person, being able to make any random social situation into a joke about having sex.
Yeah, exactly. Because hip pocket makes you think of a bumhole. All right.
Mine's not like a pocket. Are you speaking from experience?
More like a sleeve. Before we begin, we would like to give a big shout out to this show's associate producers,
Sam Johnson and Mei M.
Yes, I got to see Mei the other day, actually.
I know, I'm sad I missed them.
I know, you did miss them, but they were in town for PAX, and I did get an opportunity to catch up with them and their wonderful partner. It was so good to see you. Love your work, and thank you for supporting the show, Mei.
Big love from the boys.
And Sam as well. And remember, if you would like to help keep this and other BQN network podcasts coming to you every single week, sign up to be a patron over at patreon.com/BQN.
And for as little of $2, oh my God, I always fluff it up.
Start again.
And for as little as $2 to $5 a month, you can also get access to early episode releases, exclusive Bargain Bin Gamer Let's Play videos, and Patreon-only podcasts like Davey's Warp Speed reviews and Raggy and Amy's Math Moments. Sip that
Sorry,
tea.
I wanted some of my tea. It's before lunchtime on a Saturday, a beautiful Saturday at that, and here we are. We've arrived. We are post-PAX.
Post-PAX.
I know we actually promised you our Bargain Bin Gamer Goes to the Movies as our next episode, but we got shit on.
We've been booked, busy, blessed, and burgeoning.
Burgeoning. But before we get to what is our main topic of today, which is going to be a big recap of our experience at PAX 2025, PAX Australia 2025 last week, got to ask, what's been going on in your life?
Oh my God.
What? Spill the tea.
What hasn't been going on? Well, obviously PAX was a massive weekend last weekend. And since then, the new Pokemon game has come out, which has completely and utterly consumed my whole life. Other than that, literally nothing. What about you?
Yeah, and we're doing a bonus drop this week on YouTube and on the podcast. So we're going to be doing a double episode drop. So we're going to have a little Pokemon Legends ZA. Should you open up your purse strings for it? But that's coming. It's
not a very Bargain Bin game.
The question was, what about you? And what about me? It isn't fair.
Do you want to live? Do you want your share?
I do.
Sorry to anyone who's international, you wouldn't understand that reference.
Well, actually, Shannon Knoll covered that song. That song existed long before Shannon Knoll sang it, dickhead.
Oh my God. My age is showing. Let me sip my tea while you talk about what's going on with you.
I know. It's been a very, very busy week. I have done 2 back-to-back conferences. I've been editing podcasts left, right, and center. Big shout out to Murray and Over the Rainbow, who have been helping edit his Queer Dads podcast. We just released season 2 of that on Double T Media this week. Very, very excited about that. I've been playing a lot of Hades too.
Oh, banger choice.
That has been, because I never got into the first one, but that has been taking a lot of my time.
Hades 1 consumed me for a period of time, so I get it. Are you finding like the character writing to be really fantastic?
It's so good. It's got so much personality, given that it's just still drawings with a bunch of shimmery effects on a screen.
Yeah, they added the shimmery effects in the second game. I was like, ooh.
Oh, no. I was like, oh, we've got to still made so much money off the first game that we're just going to add a little shimmer. But, you know, I didn't get into the first one. I do struggle with the whole, is it roguelite or roguelike? Roguelike.
With a K.
I don't even know what it means. Professional gaming podcaster. I've never really got into the whole roguelike thing. I never got into the whole repetitive thing, but I did start to find it quite addictive. Well, I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a go because everywhere is giving it a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because I love being able to just sit down and just do a run through, which can maybe take 5 minutes. It can maybe take up to an hour.
Yeah, it's a game that you can sink a lot of time into and get a lot of benefit from. And all the runs, because it's a roguelike, typically are completely different. So it's not like you're playing the same build every time or the same enemies every time. Like I think it's just, the replay value is insane.
Yeah, there's a different, you have to you can take different strategies. You get the different power-ups and stuff that you like. So
have you got a favorite Greek god?
Zeus. Oh. I like the lightning staff.
I hate Zeus, but he does have good powers.
Well, yeah, because I find I work really well when I've got because there's like the hold, you press whatever button and you get the little circle and
the summoning circle,
the summoning circle or whatever it is. I played the game. I know what everything's called. I'm 41 years old. I have no memory.
I think it's called the hex. Go on.
Something along those lines. But anyway, with Zeus, you get the little zappy when people are in the hold. They get zapped with the electricity, and I find that really useful with bosses. The zappy. And I find that really useful with bosses.
Well, there's your mini review of Hades too.
Yeah, get into that. But that's what I've been up to. And then this evening, I'm going to an event called Bed by 10.
Bed by 10.
And I will leave by 5.
And what did I call that party?
Over 35's party. Because I'm not drinking at the moment, so I'm probably just going to go have a little soda water and then be like, bye quiz.
Have a little splash of lime in there?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you allowed?
A little bit. Am I allowed? He's making reference to the fact that I'm on my wedding body diet and I'm looking fabulous.
He is looking good.
Well, I don't know if you can tell on YouTube.
Behind the mic and under the table.
Behind the mic, but trust me, under the table, there's barely any of me left.
If you see a bit of dust float by the camera, it's actually Davey's waist.
If I turn sideways, you'll stop looking at me because I won't be there anymore, but I won't put you through that. Wow.
Can you tell we've had a big rest last night?
Because I have not had coffee in 4 weeks.
Yeah, weird.
I've not had coffee in 4 weeks. And all of a sudden I have this new natural lease on life. It's like, the sun is shining. My poos are like Christmas presents.
Every episode has to have a poop reference.
I know.
I swear every episode.
And it's not even my joke. That's from the Cates. Kate McCartney and Kate McLennan. Shout out to you girls because I know you watch.
Long-time supporters.
Long-time fans of the show.
All right, Davey, what are we talking about? Enough fucking about.
Enough fucking about. We are here to recap our PAX Australia 2025 experience.
There he goes.
Hang on. I can't find them. Where are they? Where's the large robot?
PAX Australia 2025 with Mitch and Davey, the Bargain Bin Gamers.
All right.
I swore we were past this.
Never.
So we did it. We did 3 days as invited media. Not invited media, we asked.
We begged. Please.
No. And what's really funny is with media passes meant we got to go, we got to cover the event, and we've been putting lots and lots of individual videos up on YouTube of our indie devs that we got to interview, which we'll talk a little bit more about today and play those for you here on the podcast too. But we did have to apply to be media. And I kind of only applied for myself.
You sure did.
And so I had to beg them to give one to you as well.
And then as a little side story, I showed up to pick up my pass and the lady was obviously on about 4 Red Bulls. And she was like, oh, can't find your name on here, sorry. And I was like, oh my God, Davey, I'm going to punch you in the throat. And then she re-pressed F5 and she was like, oh, found you.
I know. As I chat GPT'd that very desperate reply to get you a pass, I was like, geez, it's going to be sad to only have Mitch there on one day.
How are you going to break the news to me?
No, because we'd already bought passes for the Saturday, which they very kindly refunded.
Thank you.
Which was lovely. But yeah, it was 3 days. and we got some lessons learned from it, which I think we'll cover off later. But we're gonna step through day by day, and then when we get to our third day, we're gonna play for you our indie interviews as well. So this might be a little bit of an extra long edition of the pod today, but
Extra long, extra thick.
You love us, and that's why you're here. Extra thick hip pocket.
Yeah, and some could say maybe on the Patreon it could be even uncut as well. I know that's the rage at the moment.
Uncut hip pocket.
I was talking about the long, thick, uncut video.
Oh, that one.
There we go.
Awesome.
Speaking of innuendos.
In your window. All right, so let's start with day one. Day one was probably one of our favorite days, I would say, because day one, what did we get to do?
We got to go in an hour before the gen pop, the general population.
Yes.
And help ourselves to whatever we wanted.
Yeah, not quite that much, but we did get Media Hour. So Media Hour was our opportunity to go in and soak it all up, get lots of B-roll footage, try everything, and do our interviews, which we didn't. Now, we could have had a very good opportunity to interview lots more devs with a lot less background noise, and I do apologize for that when you get to the interviews. But what did we do instead for the whole hour?
Listen, I'm a simple man, and I needed to play the demo for Pokemon Legends EA. And so I weaponized my hour media entry to get in that Nintendo line, because that was a bumper-to-bumper line for the whole weekend, and I can't wait that long. I can't do it.
Yeah,
lines are not for me. Depending upon the context, lines are not for me, okay? I cannot wait in a line to play a video game. End of story. So, especially the Nintendo booth, they were pretty chockers while we were there.
Yeah, they were pretty chockers after that, and I stood in line with him. I mean, we got in straight away. We're in that line for less than 5 minutes, I think, given it was Media Hour. And I stood behind you and filmed it all because we wanted to bring you exclusive footage of a game that was coming out in 6 days, which is already out by the time you're listening to this. I was like,
we've already played it by then.
All right, this is they're finally going to take notice and send us review codes.
I wish. Would have saved me $110. Anyway.
Yeah, and I also played Metroid Prime 4, which I actually really, really, really enjoyed. And, I was excited for you to get your little teaser, your 6-day in advance teaser of...
I really needed it.
of Pokemon Legends. You were really impressed too. You were having a good time.
I was. The lady was also vaguely impressed with me as well. Someone who's played the game for 20 years could actually play it well. She was kind of shocked. I won a little badge for it, which was quite fun. One of the ladies was basically completely unaware of what Pokemon even was, which was hilarious. The Nintendo workers were all, I assume marketing people purchased for the thing. They didn't really know anything about the game, which was quite fun. But the demo was 2 parts. There was kind of like a gauntlet run situation, and then there was like a boss battle. Upon playing the game, which we'll get to later, I found out that that's pretty early in the game and basically unchanged, which was very interesting. But yeah, it was really, really fun. How did you find Metroid? Did you love it?
Yeah, I did. I really, really loved it. We did post a reel up on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram with those impressions as well. So we'll provide a link just so we don't want to double up too much. But I did enjoy it. I did not enjoy being forced to use the mouse controls. Yes. My little T-Rex 41-year-old hands were like,
You did look a little uncomfortable. Did you have one down and one up to aim?
Yeah, one down. Because I put both down and I'm like, I'm ready to play. And the guy's like, oh, you need to pick one up. I'm like,
didn't you try and pick both up? And they were like, oh, no, you have to play it like that.
You could pick both up and you could play like Wii style, which I thought was better than the mouse.
Probably would
I
be.
thought the motion sensor for targeting was better than... Because it's so small compared to a mouse.
It is very tiny.
And it's just, and I've never been that kind of... I was never a PC gamer, so I've never really kind of gotten used to the first-person shooter experience of mouse and keyboard, which I know those who grew up on it claim it is the superior way to do it. But no,
not for us.
Not
console
for us,
noobs.
Not for us. We didn't. There was other stuff going on in the Nintendo booth. They had really cool Mario Kart knockout tournaments going on live. I really would have loved to have had a go at that, but again,
so busy.
After the Media Hour was done, it was so busy.
They had like PAX people at the end of lines with little signs saying line full so that they wouldn't spill out into the walkway. And I'm pretty sure at the Nintendo booth, they were pretty much like there full time. Like it was like a 1 in, 1 out stage.
Yeah. So, but it was good to see it though. It was pulling in quite a crowd. They had other games. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 was there, even though those were already out. But I think it's, convincing people to buy it because there was a little section where you could go and buy a Switch or pre-order games.
They had like their little Nintendo shop, but also one of the big crowd drawers that confused me, but apparently not you, was Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah.
It was popping off.
It was more popular than Pokemon. It was more popular than Metroid.
It was crazy.
It was insane. Everyone was really keen to try it. I think it's because it's this cult game from like 20 years ago in the GameCube that is getting a new iteration, and everyone's just like, they want to see what it's like. We didn't get to play it because just the line was just too long, and we were just very conscious of what time we had. But all accounts of what I've seen online, people are raving. They're just saying it's very, very simple, but a lot of fun.
It looked very cute as well. Like the graphics look nice, but obviously it's Kirby, so it's supposed to be kind of adorable. And it did look pretty cute.
Yeah.
Bright colors, lots of little stars and everything.
Yeah, what we saw. They had the new, what are they called? The Age of Calamity, the
Hyrule Warriors.
Didn't even go anywhere near it.
And then how did you find your run-in with Elden Ring?
Well, so little behind the curtain area for mature games. They had Elden Ring and Borderlands 4. I watched some people playing Borderlands 4. It did not look like it was running well. And I played Elden Ring as well. I've never been a Dark Souls fan anyway, but I played it for a tiny little bit and I'm like, oh, this feels like garbage.
It looked like it ran kind of like molasses. It looked like it wasn't particularly responsive.
Yeah, it was not great. I was in the big open world part, which I know other people who played the demo said that it's, when you're in the big open area, it is a lot worse. I mean, it looked okay, and I was probably more frustrated because I was trying to ask the guy who was standing next to it when it's due out on the Switch too, and he kept insisting it was already available. And I'm like, dude, it's not. And he's like, yeah, no, all the first party games are already, like this one already out. I'm like, it's not a first party game.
Also, for some reason, which I don't understand why, maybe it was to cover up some graphics, they didn't have a TV for it. Every other game there had it being played on a TV.
You could only play it in handheld.
Very odd. I thought that was suspicious.
I'm guessing it's because the code probably hasn't been optimized for docked mode yet, because sometimes games can run better in handheld, especially games like that. Like I've definitely know Cyberpunk and Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, they look fine or docked, but they really, really shine playing them undocked in handheld mode. Yeah, they look much, much better in that, guys. But then again, both of those games felt like they looked and ran better than what I got to see of Elden Ring. I'm probably not going to buy it anyway because they're not really my kind of games.
Not really your target audience.
Yeah, I'm also willing to be surprised by it because people were really surprised by Star Wars Outlaws. The early footage of that really, really had people going, no, thank you. But then it's surprised and delighted upon its release. So that was the Nintendo booth, and that was
thanks for having us, by the way.
Half of our first day.
Thanks for having us.
God.
Yeah. Then we kind of used the first day to get a lay of the land a little bit.
We did, and because there is a lot of land to get the lay of.
Oh boy, was there! Those legs got to work out.
And the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre is such a fantastic place. It's such an incredible venue, and there are other events going on at that time. Like it's insane, like just how big this is. You've got and lots of you were probably there, but you've got that one area where it's all, one side's kind of all video games, the other side's kind of all retail and tabletop games and RPGs and classic consoles, which we didn't really play this year but had a little look at. And then you've got the other side where the plenary theatre is, which is where they have keynote speeches and like breakout panel sessions and an area where we spent a bit of time, which was the PAX Together Lounge. It used to be called the Diversity Lounge, but now it's called the Together Lounge. But it was good to see it up there. Obviously, we spent some time with Jacob Warren and our good friend from the Melbourne Gaymers. They were up there and they sold out of their pins, which was nice.
Day one, by the way. Good job.
Yeah. And we ran into a few other people as well, like the Lab. So they were a group who were about creating community and opportunities for neurodiverse people.
Correct.
I believe.
Really helped. Like, I really connected with that, obviously because of my out of pod employment.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that was really cool. Checkpoint Gaming from Joy 94.9 were there, which was cool to see as well. We had a little bit of chat to them. And there was the multicultural group as well.
Yes.
And they were there and had a petition for the changes in Queensland around trans care, healthcare for trans people who
trans
are
youth,
trans youth. That's right, which we signed.
We sure did. I hope I get their email.
Sign that, yes. And they wanted you to draw your favorite multicultural video game character on a little whiteboard. And who did you draw?
Well, I was trying to think about multiculturalism in gaming, and I thought about Urbosa from Breath of the Wild because she's a Gerudo. And I think the Gerudos are really cool, especially because in previous games, I know they were kind of a racial stereotype for vaguely Middle Eastern people with their scimitars and only robbing and there being bandits. And then in Breath of the Wild, they got a revamp and now they're like cool warrior women that are like really powerful and strong. So I thought that was cool, so I drew her because I love her.
We also joined the Melbourne Gamers. They did a social in the evening as well. We went and played Skulls with some friends. Some old mates of mine from Canberra showed up.
Classic Skulls. We love Skulls.
Yeah, we played that for a little bit, and I think we just played Skulls.
We did just play Skulls.
We did just play Skulls.
It was nice to have a period where we could sit.
Yes.
We got to sit, we got to be social. It was unfortunate that we weren't at a bar. We couldn't have a beer, but that's okay. We don't need it.
That's right. We have plenty of personality without it.
We had our expensive bottles of water that we purchased from the convention center.
No. Oh my God. Yeah. $5.30 for a bottle of Coolridge. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but if you feel like it.
Yeah. And the one tap at the back of the hall where you could go and fill it up.
The one that everyone was kind of corralled around like a watering hole.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was good fun. Well received. The Melbourne Gamers as well. They had a good crowd up there. I think Jacob Warren organised that most years.
Yes,
which
they did a fantastic
really cool.
job. I do feel a bit bad for them because upstairs, for some reason, the AC wasn't working. So they were basically being hotboxed upstairs.
It was a stinker up there.
But then when we went into the little convention room area, the AC was like Arctic. So maybe they just had a broken one, but oh well.
Yeah.
Just meant that Warren got to wear a tank top. I'm sure he was devastated.
Yeah. Poor old fella. And that was pretty much day one. I mean, we probably left around about 6:30. It does go on well into the evening, but we were buggered.
The only other thing that we did manage to do on that day, which was our meditative part of the day, was we got to paint our little miniatures.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
I was drawn to it because the guy at the front was kind of hot. And I was like, I wonder what all the hype is about painting miniatures, because I have friends that play Warhammer, Warframe, Warhammer,
yeah.
And they spend so much money and time on painting their miniatures. And I was like, why don't we give it a try? It was free. Thank you for that, by the way. Massive shout out.
Yeah, pick your little miniature. They had like 2 or 3 you could pick from.
Yeah, there was like a Star Wars battle guy and there was like a wizard with a paintbrush.
Yeah, a wizard.
And so we got to do that. They gave us 45 minutes. They provided all the paint and everything. And I was locked in.
Yeah.
Single-minded process, meditative. It was great.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed that. We were supposed to get 45 minutes. I reckon we were there for over an hour.
We'll put some images on the screen of how it ended up. But it was just very like, I got to like, my brain went nice and quiet. I was sitting, I was resting. I noticed my tongue was out the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
I was painting because I was focusing.
I can see how people get obsessed with it.
Yes.
Because you're totally right. The focus that's required for it just makes the brain just go, this is all I need to do right now.
Well, I can imagine if you have like a high stress job or you work really long hours, being able to turn off your brain and do that would be a massive draw. So the people that I know that do it, they do have very, very stressful jobs. So it kind of like, it clicked in my brain as to why they're so obsessed with it, because it's almost like a meditative, quiet time. It's just you. You don't have to think. I really enjoyed it. I can see myself doing it again.
Sweet. Good times.
Sweet,
Good times.
bro.
Sweet.
I love it, my fucking PAX.
All right. Day 2.
Woo!
Day 2. The first thing I've got written here is hot nerds.
Oh my God. I was a problem. I apologize to any men that I looked at in a funny way during those 2 days. I had no time to do anything else other than go to PAX, and so I was a feral pig. They were all very hot. I will speak solely for Davey because he's a taken lady. They were all very hot. I did mention on day 2 or 3 that I can't tell if it's like a ratio thing because they were like vaguely hot, but a lot of people weren't exactly my type or potentially our type. And so the ones that did stand out were really, really hot, but because they're nerds, they were even hotter. I was like, great.
No, there was certainly a high percentage of attractiveness lurking about.
Where
the
was
floor.
the hot guy for that? What was that one?
In the Doom.
It was Doom, of course it was.
That's something for Doom.
They had this
the
big,
new
tall,
Doom.
straight guy with his arms out, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm into Doom now.
I know. You pretty much caused like a domino effect because you kind of screeched to a stop. Everyone behind you's like, we'd like to keep walking, dude. Like,
Listen, I'm a simple man. But yes, that was definitely a highlight of day 2. What else did we do on day 2?
I was just going to say thank you, PAX, for the eye
Yes,
candy. It
thank
was
you.
Lovely.
It does happen every year. They do come out to play and they travel down. So thank you.
Yeah. We also went and saw a little bit of friend of the pod, Matt Frequencies, who was putting on his rave in one of the rooms upstairs to a bunch of people sitting down.
That was fun.
But yeah, he actually made it really fun and really engaging. So Matt was on the show just a little while ago now. So he was our video game DJ who does the interactive video game adventure raves.
Yes.
And so it was nice to actually see what it's like in person. And he'd made like D&D style, he'd made this big inflatable dice. So when he was giving people options on the interactive musical journey, like okay, we've arrived at the castle. What are we going to do? Someone shout out, knock down the door. And he'd be like, all right, come up and roll the dice. And they'd have to get up the front, roll this big inflatable dice. And it would be like, the guy got a 1. He's like, oh, sorry, you failed.
Yeah.
They'd have to toddle off back to the seat.
It was funny to watch people sit during the rave. But
Yeah, there was a couple of people down the front who were sort of trying to get things moving a little bit, which was cool. And he wasn't just playing like video game music. Like there was Spice Girls and all kinds of stuff in there. So Matt, you did a really, really good job. We didn't get to see the whole thing because we had other stuff to do, and you went to the toilet and then couldn't come back.
They didn't let me in. It was like a nightclub. It was like a 1 in, 1 out situation.
It was standing room only. Yeah, they got capacity limits in those rooms. And day 2 was probably our shortest day because something happened not long after that, which kind of brought the day to an end, which was
we had an emergency evacuation.
we did have an emergency evacuation. We had to evacuate the dance floor because we were infected by the sound.
Did you say Stop the Beat's Killing Me?
So they did.
Yeah, we were midway. Well, you were midway through playing a lesbian werewolf game. Obviously, very on brand.
I don't know if it was a lesbian werewolf game. We had not actually ascertained whether there was any lesbians in that game or not yet.
I think it was squarely lesbian. The lady was very much a lesbian based on her carabiner and her short cut hair. So.
Yeah. She was. Yeah, there was some lesbianism going on.
But yeah, the alarm basically went off and it said emergency imminent or like evacuation imminent.
Incident has been detected. Please prepare to evacuate. And we were like, I was a little scared.
Yes,
I was a little scared. But we got out. They got everyone out in an orderly fashion.
It was surprisingly not a stampede, which was kind of nice. I was a bit worried. I immediately thought of like a really serious emergency, like possibly someone with a weapon. And so I was a little freaked out. Turns out it was someone vaping in the bathroom, ?
Well, the official statement was that it was a false alarm.
Yes.
However, we put up a TikTok about it, which was our most popular TikTok ever, by the way. And lots of people were actually saying there was a rumor going around that it was a code brown.
Yes, I did hear that as well.
That someone apparently shat themselves on the expo floor.
I don't know if that would be a reason to close down the whole venue, though.
Oh, it depends on how big the shit was.
Well, true. And based on some of the
It could be like a biological hazard.
Based on the BO of some of those people, I would counter shit as a possible biohazard.
Yeah. If someone slipped on it and there's a big smear going halfway down the tabletop section.
Of course, it'd be the tabletop section.
But yeah, I think we were feeling pretty tired by that point. That was about 4:00 in the afternoon. So we called it a day. So day three.
Day
three was our real kind of like media heavy day.
That was the media day. We didn't weaponize the fact that we had a free whole hour to do our media stuff. We did it on the final day.
Yeah, exactly. Which was actually probably a little bit better because it's a wee bit quieter.
Yes.
Because let me just say, days 1 and 2, so busy.
Why was Friday so busy? Don't you people have jobs? Says us who took days off work.
Exactly.
We're the media though.
Yeah, exactly that. And day 2 was sold out, but day 3 was a little bit on the quieter side, which was nice.
Was good.
So we went around and interviewed a handful of indie devs, a couple who we had selected prior to going to the event because as media pass holders...
we didn't even bring our passes.
I need that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Yes, a lot of them were contacting us beforehand about their games. There were so many to try, and I really wish we could have got around to try everything. But the indie sections were absolutely packed full of people.
Popping off.
So
they were busy.
They were so busy, and we love to see it because there's so many indies out there doing so many wonderful, unique things, which is fantastic. So we got around and saw 1, 2, 3, 4 who we did interviews with, which we loved every single one of them. And I'm going to start with my first interview, which was a game called Memories Reach. So we met the wonderful Ben, who is the creative director at 100 Stones Interactive. Memories Reach is a 3D puzzle Metroidvania in Ben's words, and it was like in terms of graphics, it was the most probably like professional, like AAA looking game from a graphics. It was beautiful.
It was giving kind of like Portal meets Half-Life.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
yes.
it looked really good. Very professional. Congratulations on that. Obviously, graphics don't make everything, but yeah, it was especially. Did we figure out, was it just him making that or has he got a little team?
I think he had some people helping out with other bits and pieces, but he was largely doing it solo.
That's crazy.
And look, I think the best way to get you across it is to hear from the man himself. So here is my interview with Ben from 100 Stones Interactive.
Here with Ben from 100 Stones Interactive, and we've just played Ben's game Memories Reach. Ben, how you going?
Doing well, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So tell me, I mean, I've just played it, but I guess for everyone who doesn't know, tell us a bit about Memories Reach.
Cool, so Memories Reach is a puzzle and exploration focused Metroidvania. First person, sci-fi, very much about exploring a world, solving puzzles, gaining new abilities, which will then unlock more of the world and more puzzles to solve, and so just gradually expanding and unlocking this interconnected world as you go.
Is there a story to it at all, or is it purely just puzzle solving?
Now there is a story. The story is sort of told very organically and very much about you discovering things as you go, right? So you'll find narrative pickups, will give you very explicit plot information about what's going on, or you can like scan parts of the world to learn a bit of lore and a bit of history of the place and what's sort of going on and kind of piece together the story yourself as you go.
And are you a solo team for this game, or have you got some other people working with you?
Yes-ish. So 100 Stones is a solo company, but I am working with other people. So I got an audio engineer, sound designer, composer, and a narrative designer as well. So I'm doing all the art, programming, game design, everything else.
And one of the things like that was immediately obvious to me, so we've done a lot of PAX, we've done a lot of indie games at PAX, is just the beautiful 3D graphics that you have on display here. How important was it for you to have visual flair and that visual style? What was the inspiration behind that, I guess?
Well, it's definitely my vibe. My background is a 3D environment artist. It's what I was doing before I was making my own games, right? Yeah. So I came from that background and then taught myself programming in order to make my games. So I definitely lead into that as just my interest, right? I like making really detailed environments, so that's what I make.
Yeah.
I base my games around that.
Yeah, and you've got it coming to, I noticed you said it's coming to like PC, Steam, and consoles as well, is that correct?
Yep, I do want to bring it to consoles. We'll see which ones. I'm very keen to get it on Switch too. Other consoles are certainly possible. Figure that out after the PC launch, really. So I'll get it out on that first. Solo dev makes it difficult, so launch PC first. We'll worry about the rest after that.
Yeah, well, it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's a lot of fun to play, even though I needed a tiny little bit of help. Just a little bit of help. Yeah, but you did say the demo that you've got here, which is exclusive for PAX, is kind of midway through the game.
More difficult. So this demo uses a bunch of puzzle rooms from say, the third major area of the game, which is a good chunk of the way into the game. It's a lot more difficult. I took some of the most fun puzzles from that area and stuck them together into a custom demo for this, which does mean they're a bit more difficult. They do assume a bunch of knowledge that most players here won't have, so I do have to kind of like help them along a little bit. But yeah, I really wanted to show off the new mechanic, because it's quite a fun thing to use. So
yeah, it was good though. I mean, even though you had to give me a couple of little nudges, when I actually solved something, I felt really, really smart. And that's what you want in a puzzle game.
That's definitely what I'm trying, and I'm really trying to make it so that each puzzle is enjoyable to solve and is always not the most obvious solution. Usually I try and make it so that the puzzle almost leads you into a trap. Like, you think you've got it, you think you can figure it out, you go towards the end, you go, oh, didn't work, because of like there's a door here or something. I wasn't expecting that. As you saw with the bridge, where the gate was shut. You finally thought you got it, gate shut, can't get it, okay, now what do I do? And you have to kind of like think back over the layout of the room, like, how else can I use this room with the mechanics in here to bypass this? So trying to make it, so the final solution to a puzzle is not the most obvious solution to a puzzle.
Are you a big puzzle game fan yourself? Like, what's some of your puzzle game inspiration behind this?
Ooh, that's interesting actually, because I would say that most of the puzzle inspiration comes more from games like Legend of Zelda than it does from like traditional puzzle games. And the reason for that is I'm going for a very much more environmental driven sort of puzzle solving, like you find in the Zelda games, than the traditional, here is a room with a puzzle mechanics to solve, then move on to the next room kind of thing. That being said, there's games like Talos Principle, definitely an influence, and Portal and that kind of thing. So you get that kind of like environmental mechanics driven puzzle.
I'm glad you said that, because I was getting kind of Zelda dungeon, but also a little bit of Portal vibes as well, which is really cool. So you can wishlist now on Steam, and there's a demo on Steam as well, is that right?
Yeah, so I did Steam Next Fest earlier this year, and that demo is still on Steam. So you can play that. It's basically the opening section of the game. It's quite a large chunk of content there. You can check it out, give the game a wish list, and let me know what you think.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll chuck a link to that in the episode description. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Bargain Bin Gamers. Dateline 1942.
It's keeping up.
The war has started. And we've got Penelope Poleduster coming up on the left side. We've got Pike coming up.
It's kidding.
Penelope Poleduster.
Oh, deep cut, everyone, deep cut. So we're back.
And we're back. And that was the wonderful Ben. We really, really enjoyed getting to meet him, really enjoyed the game. So we'll make sure we include links to that one down below. Thank you so much, Ben. The next one was another one that I interviewed. We'll get to yours in a second.
Yeah, apparently we're doing you first. The important one first.
Yeah, the important one first. And we got to meet the wonderful Sam, and we played Sam's game, How Was Your Day? How was it?
My day so far has been fantastic.
Yeah, that's
what about
good
you?
to know. Yeah, that's good. That's wonderful. Thank you. Sam
No
was,
lost dogs here.
Sam was great to talk to. I mean, all of them are fantastic to talk to, but Sam was so passionate about her game. And I can see why. It is a very 90s inspired point and click adventure set in New Zealand with an Indian family. The dog's gone missing. There's all these like cool multicultural elements built into it, because there's a mystery to solve. The Festival of Diwali's got something to do with it. So I got to play a little bit of it, and I got to have a really good conversation with Sam. So let's hear from Sam right now.
Davey here on day 3 of PAX Australia in Melbourne, and I am here with the wonderful Sam from Mad Carnival Games, and I've just played Sam's game, How Was Your Day? A point-and-click adventure where you are out to find Beans the dog. But I won't give you the full synopsis. Sam, tell us a little bit more about the game.
Kia ora. So how was your day? Think Groundhog Day meets Stranger Things with a cultural twist.
Nice.
And that's the premise of the game. So you follow 13-year-old Dia, who's recently moved to New Zealand from Fiji. She's not settling in. It's a bit of a culture shock. Her parents are distracted with financial worries, and her brother's got a new girlfriend, so he's been really annoying. But there is one light in her life, which is a stray dog she's found and named Beans. And one particularly bad day, she comes home and Beans is missing. And then she finds herself stuck in a mysterious time loop. And she kind of has to come out of her comfort zone and talk to people around her and her parents to figure out what's going on with Beans and the time loop.
Amazing. And I wanted to know what inspired the story, because I was drawn to it because of a lost dog. and I'm a dog person, and it's one of my biggest fears. But, yeah. What is there any kind of real life experience behind that?
No, we didn't lose our dog, but the inspiration was actually came from my son. He's 11 now, but he was 9 at the time, and I was walking him home from school and had my usual question, "How was your day?" And he said, "Good," and we were very engaged, but for a split second I saw his teenage self, and I was like, gosh, it must feel like Groundhog Day for teenagers. They go through their day, their parents ask them, how's their day? And they say good, and it all happens all over again. And from a parent, we're genuinely interested in how their day was, how they're doing. We want to hear from them. And I think a lot of teens hold a lot of stuff in their head. And if they just communicated and shared some of that, I think problems could be halved. So the idea was, this repeated day, this Groundhog Day premise, this repeated day could offer some opportunity to kind of have conversations and dive deeper. And then what's the catalyst for you wanting to do that, And the lost dog came into it. And so what could be something that you'd feel like, I really want to get to the bottom of this, and it's, a dog, which I'm a dog lover as well. So that would be awful, awful to lose my dog. So, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of sort of retrospective or introspection of your own teenage life, maybe.
Oh, totally. I mean, I moved from Fiji to New Zealand when I was 9.
Yeah.
And this was in the 80s. So the game's set in the 80s. And it was definitely it wasn't traumatic at the time. And even now I don't feel any trauma about it, but I kind of think back and go, gosh, it was a real culture shock, and our world is very different now, and our son doesn't have the same problems, but there's a lot of that goes into the character of, just a lot of the kind of uncomfortableness and embarrassment she feels being different to everyone. And so that kind of plays out. And so there's a big cultural element to the game. It's set the day before Diwali in 1988, and that plays into the game as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was, I noticed there was some Diwali in there, and the main character's like, oh, I love Bollywood. There's the Bollywood calendar. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
And the point and click aspect of it. Why point and click?
I mean, I'm a child of, the 80s and the 90s, and point and click is my favorite genre. Probably really because I'm really useless at using controllers and get a little bit motion sick, but I just personally love narrative puzzle games and adventure, and just the ability to do something like that has been a dream. One of my favorite games of all time is Gabriel Knight and Monkey Island and, some of those. So I really love the idea of being able to create a narrative interactive story, but with puzzles in the mix as well. Yeah.
And there's a resurgence or a renaissance happening, especially in the indie scene, especially in the indie scene. And one thing that really stood out to me as well is the artwork. Now, I'm assuming it's all hand-drawn, hand-painted.
Yeah, so we've got an amazing artist, and our team's all New Zealand-based, and Laura's just done an amazing job. And there's a lot of serendipitous moments with the game, and she had reached out to me kind of a couple of years ago when I just got a tiny bit of funding for the game and thought, what's next? And saw her art, and it was exactly what I had in my mind. And so the rest is history, really. She started, doing some concept art, and I was like, this is it. This is the style. And I did early on consider Pixel, but I was like, I want to do something really different, and I wanted to showcase New Zealand. So I really wanted to share the beautiful vistas and landscape of Aotearoa. And I think, she just does a really great job of capturing that. And I just didn't think Pixel would do it justice.
Really... It gives it a whole life and personality all of its own. So fantastic choice.
Yeah.
And you're here at PAX. You're here with Code. You've got this whole big New Zealand cohort. We've spoken to so many of you over the last couple of days. What kind of feedback have you been receiving from the Aussies?
Oh, amazing. I think we need a bigger booth and more space,
it's
really.
So crowded.
I know, right? So, the New Zealand games, and there's such a variety of them. They've all just got such amazing work, quite polished, and I think we just, really do punch above. And I feel like it's such a thing to say, but we kind of forget how small we are, but that kind of helps us be, I think it's, the word scrappy, we know, and I think the teams just do really well, and all the different art styles, and this amazing kind of vast amount of talent that's on show, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, we came to PAX last year. We met so many Kiwi devs, and we've kept in touch with them.
We're
People
taking
like
over.
Games
Great.
and the Burger Boys and all that kind of stuff. And everyone here this year is fantastic as well. So for your game, though, how was your day? What can we expect coming up in the future?
Yeah, so there's a demo out on Steam at the moment. So you can go and play. It's about 45 to 60 minutes. It'll give you a little bit of a taste of the game. You get to meet Beans, which you didn't get to do today. So you get to meet Beans and then you lose Beans. And we're looking at just developing it out further. I just decided a few weeks ago to add voiceover to the game. So
I was going to ask.
I was really arming and ahhing about
choice.
it. But yeah, I'm just like, you know what? I was worried about the Kiwi accents potentially not, and it's not a worry.
Well, you're showcasing New Zealand, as you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So go all in. So I'm doing that, and we're looking to, as I said, the game set the day before Diwali in 1988, and Diwali is one of those holidays that is different date every year. It's linked to the new moon. So again, serendipitously, next year Diwali falls on the exact same date as it did in 1988.
Yeah.
So I'm using that, if I'm done in time, to use that as our platform to launch.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll include all of the links. So make sure you wish list it on Steam now. Sam, it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank
Good
you
luck
so
with the
much.
game.
Thanks so much, guys.
You're welcome.
And that was Sam, everybody. Welcome back.
So stupid.
And the next one, was one of your very first interviews. Tell us about it.
So this was with Jevon, who I loved, a fabulous queer developer, and it was Adaptory, which is made by Stormcloak Games, is their running title. Now, I would say Adaptory was like a shelter simulator meets like narrative friend maker. It was kind of hard to describe. It was kind of its own little thing. I had the pleasure of being able to play it, but also be able to listen to it because they had their, his name is escaping me now. I really do apologize. The soundtrack creator was there as well. And the soundtrack was really fantastic. The game was kind of giving like a Scribblenauts energy when it came to the graphics, which was really cute. I accidentally killed one of the people as well, so I don't know if that was supposed to happen. But I was very lucky to get to also interview Jevon. So we'll have a little bit of a listen to what Jevon had to say about the game now.
Let's hear from Jevon.
Thanks, Jevon. You're an icon. Really.
Hi, it's Mitchie from the Bargain Bin Gamer, coming here from PAX live in Melbourne 2025. And I'm here with Jevon, the sole developer of Adaptory. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's my third PAX Australia in a row, and I love coming here every single year.
Yeah, and can you tell me a little bit about your previous PAX experience?
Yes, so I've come to PAX Australia 3 times. This is the third time with Adaptory. All 3 times being supported with code, which has been a really lovely experience.
Yeah.
We get to see the game in front of players, get to meet new fans. It's just a wonderful time.
Yeah, fantastic. And speaking of the game, I had the pleasure of being able to play the early demo of the game, the alpha.
Yes.
And I notoriously accidentally killed someone already, so I'm probably not the perfect play tester. But can you tell me, for our listeners and our watchers, can you tell us kind of like the elevator pitch? Tell us a little bit about the game.
Yes. So Adaptory is a 2D base building simulation game where you're looking after 4 explorers that have crash landed on a planet. And you have to help them get off the planet by digging and building, collecting resources, research, and automation. And in the process of playing Adaptory, you learn about where did they come from, which planet did they come from, where were they going, why did they crash land here, and what is this alien civilization that they've uncovered?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just like a bunker simulator. I was playing it, and obviously there's the resource gathering and there's the objectives, but the characters themselves have diaries that they get to write, so you get to learn a little bit more about them. Where did that idea come from instead of it just being a basic base builder to having almost more like a character-driven aspect?
Yes, so I love base building games and simulation games. I've played all of them for hundreds or thousands of hours. And I found that there was always a point in base building games where you stop caring about your crew, you stop caring about the characters when you get like 10, 20, 30, 100 people.
Yeah.
And so I intentionally tried to make a game where you care about the characters.
Yes.
So you start off with 4 characters and you're limited to 8.
Yes.
So that means that the characters needed to have much more of a character development. So all the characters have one of 9 different personality types, and they have conversations with each other to learn more about what's been going on, and they have diary entries so you can learn more about the backstory of the worlds.
And in terms of the story, obviously it's fairly creative. Where did that come from? Have you always been like a massive sci-fi buff, or?
Oh goodness! I mean, I grew up with Star Trek, Voyager, and DS9, but I met Cass through musical theatre, and I asked Cass, like, I'm really struggling with story, and she came on board, and she came up with this entire universe of like, here's the last 3,000 years of history in this world, and here's all the different components of the backstory, and she's really gone to make this incredible universe.
Yeah, that's amazing. And in terms of the graphic style, it's really, really cute. I hazard to ever compare games to anything, but it was kind of giving me, I don't know if you would remember Scribblenauts.
Yes.
Oh, it was giving me such cute Scribblenaut energy. Yep. Can you tell me a little bit about the design of the game? Like, why did you pick that style?
Yes. So originally when I started making Adaptory, it was a very gritty style. And I found that the gritty art style with the heavy, complex simulations, it wasn't very fun. So I actually met my artist on Twitch. Their name's Care. And we worked together since then to redo the art in a really colorful, playful style. And that has made such a big difference because now the game is fun and joyful, but there's also that deep simulation and complexity to learn from.
Yeah, definitely. I found the characters really cute. I did feel a bit bad. I accidentally killed one of them in my pursuit to get them off the planet, but, got to crack a couple eggs, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's a game about learning and exploration and discovery.
And in terms of the soundtrack, obviously, I know that you've outsourced the soundtrack to one of your co-hosts here at the event. Sai. Can you tell us a little bit about what his creative process is or why you decided to choose Sai for this project?
Yeah, so I met Sai at a game developer conference about 3 years ago. It was my first game developer conference, and I met Sai, and I listened to his work, and it's just this incredible emotional experience that he develops. He's very orchestrally based. Yeah. He's worked for the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so lucky to get to work with him. And the soundtrack is out of this world. There's also a day and night cycle. So as the day turns into night, the music changes from this upbeat, bright soundtrack to this ambient soundtrack really seamlessly. And it always blows me away.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear about, like, his wealth of talent. And it definitely shone through in the music that I heard. It was almost like haunting but calm.
Yes.
I was very calm while listening to it. It kind of gave me the time to breathe. But then it was also a little bit like I felt a bit anxious, like I had to be somewhere. So I had to get off the planet, obviously.
Yeah, so it's a combination of keeping players engaged for a long time, but also not stressing them out, but also helping players get in the zone as they explore this world and come up with these creative solutions.
Of course. Now, in my demo, I had to try and send out a distress signal.
Yes.
Can you give my listeners and my viewers a little bit of a heads up? Would you say that the demo that I played was 40%, 10%? What kind of stretch would you say it is?
Yeah, so the demo is about 30%, 40% of the early access, which is coming out at the end of this year.
Oh.
And early access is somewhere between 20 to 40% of my plans for 1.0.
Amazing, yeah.
So, and there's a lot of content to play in just the demo.
Yeah, it was a very, it had a very holistic game style as well. It was a lot of crafting, was a lot of building. I liked the idea that we had to treat our bunk people like humans as well and give them somewhere to sleep. That was quite nice. And was there any other writing aspects that you had a bit of trouble with when you were making the game?
It has been a challenge to how do you expose the relationships between the explorers?
Yeah.
Because they all have friendships and less friendships and how we've done so far is that if their best friend dies, then they're like mortally wounded for a long time.
Oh, no.
If their worst friend dies, then they're like, sure, whatever, let's go and do a thing.
Yeah.
We're still working on that. And as we go through 1.0, we'll be developing the skills and the traits and the relationship building even further.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it was a really, really fantastic demo. Obviously, if anyone wants to support them, where can they find you?
Yes, so we have a Steam page. That's called Adaptory. There's a demo on Steam available right now. This is the last demo before we go into early access, and we're going to Steam Early Access at the end of the year.
Oh my God, I'm so
excited. We
excited.
also have a fantastic Discord community of lovely people where we get to share new builds of the game. So please join us there as well.
100%. Well, we'll make sure that they're in all of the end of episode notes and down in the YouTube description for everyone to follow. I really, really hope they do support it because this was a really, really fun game. Thank you so much for your time as well today.
Thank you, Mitch.
No, you're very welcome.
All right, that was really, really cool. And I have also since downloaded the demo and played it on my laptop here at home and had a lot of fun. So again, link to that one in the episode description. And remember that the early release is happening very, very soon as well.
Correct.
Super excited to see.
Did you collect a lot of dirt?
I did collect a lot of dirt. But it was very charming, very fun. But also, Yeah, I could see what Jevon was saying. I actually did genuinely care about the characters through like the diary entries and all that. I was like, oh my God, I killed one.
Which was very cute.
It was very cute.
And
then we got on to, I think, which was, you were so excited to play this one.
So excited.
Yeah. So what was it?
We don't have the brochure with us, I don't think.
You're holding the card in your hand.
Yes, but I have the card. So this was a game that from Friday all the way through to Sunday, it was back to back people waiting to play it. We found out it was vaguely because the demo was kind of long, which was quite funny, but also because the game was really, really fantastic. And it was called Middle Management, which is done by Headplug Games, specifically the sole developer, Jack. His girlfriend was there as well, who sewed like a bunch of cute little outfits for them and everything. And the game itself is like a roguelike office simulator tycoon game. These indie games have got very interesting categorizations, I guess. But it was so much fun to play. Obviously, roguelike has come up again in our conversation, but you basically you act as like a little alien and you get to basically make the most productive office possible at the sacrifice of your employees, which is hilarious. Very tongue-in-cheek, a little bit creepy, but also very silly. And I had the distinct pleasure of being able to speak to Jack about the game, which we will have a listen to now.
And here's Jack, everybody.
Hi there, it's Mitch from the Bargain Bin Gamers coming to you live from PAX 2025, and I'm here with Jack from Headplug Games. How are you today?
I'm great. It's day 3 of PAX, so
how's your legs?
Feeling a little tired, yeah. But yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, awesome. I had the distinct pleasure of being able to play his game Middle Management, which was popping off on the first few days.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It seems like there's been a lot of buzz. Can you tell me a little bit about like how the experience has been?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've publicly shown the game off to like consumers and stuff, so it's been kind of crazy and kind of unexpected, and it's just very exciting.
Yeah, how's the feedback been?
Generally really good. I think people are resonating with like the art style and the gameplay. Yeah. There's obviously like bugs and stuff that I wasn't aware of before, so that's fun.
Well, isn't that half the reason you do it? And get a little bit of free play testing. So I had the pleasure of being able to play Middle Management. It was one of my burning ones that I wanted from the first day, but because you were so busy, I didn't get the chance to, but I got to play it yesterday. So for our listeners and our viewers, can you kind of give us like the elevator pitch for the game?
Yeah, so the game is basically like a satirical office building and management game where you're this little pink blob that's in charge of like optimizing productivity in your office. And there's basic stuff like construction decision making, picking workers that synergize together, placing furniture in rooms and stuff. And then there's this body horror layer where you use tentacles to control your workers and edit their brains and other monstrous abilities like mutating and eating people. And
stuff. It was definitely an interesting experience. I was drawn to the art style originally. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about? Because it's kind of like cutesy, but it's also the humans have no distinct features, so it's obviously the focus isn't about them. So.
Yeah. I think there's some like really like obvious inspirations. Like I really like some of the art styles from like Mini Motorways, for example, and a couple other like kind of low poly, awesome like art games and stuff. But then there's also like this kind of vibe that I want that's cute and creepy. So I wanted the game to kind of appear cute on the surface, but then have these like unnerving undertones. And having these like faceless workers, this cute blob, and then it's kind of doing some fucked up things to people.
Yeah, well, it definitely is like very cute on the surface, but there's quite some spooky bits to it. Obviously, there's the work almost till you die kind of aspect, the constantly putting profit over the well-being of the workers. Your lovely girlfriend was telling me that she likes to make sure all of her employees have anxiety as one of their traits, which is a classic office thing. Can you tell me the inspiration? Is this based on you having like a middle management job, or where did this like spark come from?
Okay, so I think it comes from a few different areas. I was definitely not enjoying my job when I was first prototyping this game.
Of course.
But also like a lot of my friends were really struggling with their first experiences in the workplace and some of the struggles with their bosses and stuff. And I was like, oh wow, this seems very pervasive. I want to like make a game about it. So
yeah, definitely. And there's body horror aspects to it. There's the attaching of the tentacles to the employees so that they work more efficiently, and then you can also modify their brains, so you can almost like cut their little head open, attach little personality things, and then you can also eat them. Spoiler. You can consume all the ones that you don't like. Are you like a big fan of like that body horror style, like almost like Alien-esque?
I think there's something about body horror that I find really interesting. It's just very like visceral and promotes this like really intense emotional reaction. And I think like whatever you tie it into, just like really enhances the experience and makes it very compelling for me. So
it was very the juxtaposition is quite cool because obviously, like we mentioned, it's very, very cute, and then you can devour your stuff, which is quite fun. So while I was playing, it's got a mix of like it's a room office builder almost. It's almost like I hazard to call it like a tycoon game where you kind of set it all up to optimize as best you can. And then you've got the roguelike elements as well. Was that an intentional blend to like add uniqueness to every play, or?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was first making this game and prototyping it, I kind of had a vibe and themes before I had mechanics. And so it actually was kind of like a weird puzzle game for a while because I was putting in any construction stuff in the game. Because like programming wise, it's just more difficult. Of course. So, but then I kind of came back to the drawing board and was like, this is a game that's parodying management, so I should probably make it a management game where you're building stuff. And then it kind of clicked gameplay wise. And then the roguelike elements, I think I personally just really enjoy roguelike games. And I think it's a type of game that's really achievable for like a one-man like programmer and design person. So something bigger that's like more traditionally just a tycoon game is a bit more difficult to achieve, I think, with the level of polish that I was looking for. So
I could only imagine. I'm probably the least knowledgeable about game development, but when we spoke to you yesterday, you mentioned that it's only you, the developer. Your lovely girlfriend is obviously helping to do some of the system work today.
Although like so I definitely get like contractors to make like enhance the art, make it much cooler. Sound design and music is done by David Mason. Art's done by Renee Harris. And I've got a narrative designer that writes funny jokes for me as well.
Of course, it is quite funny. I will give it that. The art style in kind of like the 2D section is pretty spooky, which I think is obviously intentional. Everyone's a little bit creepy, and then the writing is quite funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek about like office culture. But how do you manage being a lone dev, I guess you could call it? Like, is there like a dev life balance that you have to juggle?
Yeah, I mean, I think like one important part is having a lot of like game dev friends that you can like talk to and get advice from and support from. Like we have a really cool community in Christchurch that makes it like so much nicer to do game dev, and it gives you like an opportunity to work with other people on their games too, and you can like just learn a lot from that collaborative process that I wouldn't really have without the communities. So,
that's awesome. I can imagine it helps sharpen your skills and kind of round them out a little bit as well.
Sure. It just you learn way more lessons when you talk to other people. So.
Yeah, of course. And in terms of the game, have you got like an ideal release window for it?
Yeah, so at the moment we're targeting the first quarter of 2027.
Awesome.
And we want to get the demo out like in the first half of next year. So.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And in terms of like our listeners and our viewers, is there any particular way that's best to support the game?
Yeah, I mean, Wishlist is the game that all indies must play. So that would be the best way to support me, and you get like notified when the demo's out, and we'll be posting updates there. We've also got a website that's got a newsletter that you can sign up to as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we'll make sure all of those links are in the notes at the bottom of the podcast or the video. But thanks so much for your time today, and thank you so much for letting me play your game. It was one of my highlights for the weekend.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
There goes your eardrums, by the way, everyone.
Jack's coming up the inside, and Penelope Pole Duster's creeping up your pole duster.
Wasn't that fantastic?
It was fantastic. It was so good.
We'll have all the links to all of those games that we mentioned in the description below. Please wishlist all of them, support all of our fabulous indie dev friends.
Yes. And if you are listening to the pod or watching on YouTube, you can actually just go and catch those individual interviews as videos on the YouTube as well. And we've got little mini versions of them up on the TikTok and the Instagram. On the TikTok,
showing his age.
On the TikTok.
Up on the TikTok right now.
Going to his over 30s party later. On the TikTok.
30s party. Now, what was funny about all of the people that we interviewed, apart from Ben, all of them were from not Australia. They were all Kiwis.
Woo,
we were hanging out in the New Zealand area, and we kind of did the same last year too.
We sure did.
And for good reason. I mean, our Aussie devs, they are doing fabulous stuff as well, don't get me wrong, but we were just drawn to the NZ developers, and they had all been bought out here by this fabulous group called CODE. So it's the New Zealand Centre of Digital Excellence. And so we actually had a chat to V, who had helped bring everyone out and told us a lot about how they help with like grant funding and media training and help them get them signed by publishers and developers, which is amazing, because how many indie devs have we spoken to who are just trying to build an audience and having to self-publish and all this kind of stuff and throw so much of that money into it and effort and, you know, which I think is kind of part of the deal. But I was just so impressed with the support that they're receiving through this group. And I do believe they get a lot of government funding to do it as well.
Yeah, but also, as we'll see in a minute, V has been working with CODE for so long. Like, it's obviously such a passion, and they speak really fondly about the indie dev scene over in New Zealand and, you know, the types of support that they get given. And I think it's really important that, you know, we get to give them the spotlight as well, because they're kind of like the people behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah. And V gave me this really cool fact sheet as well, which, again, this is probably one of the reasons why we love them so much. 29% female workers, 15% neurodiverse workers, and 23% LGBTQ plus workers. And V gave us a really amazing reason as to why they celebrate diversity so much at CODE and in New Zealand. So hey, let's hear it from V themselves. Let's go. Hey.
Hello. We are back again at PAX Australia 2025 here in beautiful Melbourne, and I am here with the fabulous V from CODE. V, tell us a little bit about CODE.
So the verbosely named New Zealand Centre of Digital Excellence, aka CODE New Zealand, is an industry accelerator body. We started as a regional economic development agency deep in the South Island in Dunedin, and now we're a national body. And the 90-second version is we have three main pillars. We look after the teams with grant funding, including travel grants and development grants. We do a lot of capability work where we teach them how to pitch. We give them market research, customer evaluation, that sort of stuff. And then we look at pathways where we work with educational institutions around syllabus construction.
Amazing. Now, behind us here on the other side of the camera, we've got the huge CODE booth, which is all of the New Zealand indie devs who have come here. Now, those who watched our coverage last year and who are going to be watching this year as well are going to notice a particular theme. We love the Kiwis. Like, there are some amazing New Zealand-based indie devs here, and you've brought them all to our shores. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, we haven't bought them all because there's so many more to go. I mean, we run a curated showcase at PAX Oz. We also do the other events like Gamescom, previously GDC and whatnot. And maybe next year BitSummit, a bit of that in Kyoto as well. And we're here because all these indie devs, they're looking for audiences. They're looking to engage with media such as yourselves. Devolver Digital came through yesterday. You know, PlayStation will show up at some point. It all just works like that.
Yeah, and it's your mission to help indie devs find their footing, find their niche, get them out there on the world stage, right?
So we're a bit of a unique beast because all we work on is games.
Yeah, of course.
So that means that we have this mandate to make sure that we bring them out for these showcases and develop that. Because the other thing too with indie devs now, everyone says discoverability is the biggest challenge. It's not. It's audience creation. So what you are in the business, and we train our teams like this, is to understand that you are in the business of generating an audience, acquiring fans. So a lot of what we do is about that, why we work with these early stage things to build their audiences, jump on their Discord servers, and all around that area as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably one thing to come here and get a whole bunch of people wish listing your game on Steam, but actually getting them to come back and follow the journey of those devs over times and the games over times must be a whole different challenge.
Create that dialogue, so they're engaging with not only your wish listing, which is great, but by itself is not enough, right? So particularly if there's someone who's really wants to get into the community and all that, making sure that you're communicating with them regularly, they're getting updates. If you're having playtest events, those people are golden, right? Because they really care about the game, but on the other hand, they're excited to see what you've done next, or you get really good feedback from them when something hasn't gone quite right. Yeah. So, and that's hugely valuable for an indie team in the development who can't afford a large playtest audience.
Yeah, and I've joined so many Discord servers as a result of coming through this, including some people who I know that you have helped along the way. Our good friends for Knife Games, big shout out to them, who I hear are doing big things at the moment, which is exciting.
Knife is doing well.
Yeah, love for Knife. So, tell me, why is there such a thriving indie gaming scene in New Zealand?
Couple of reasons. So New Zealand, culturally, okay, so this is a big thing to drop. Nearly 20% of our population is indigenous. So we have the Māori and the Pacifica influence, which is where that jank sense of humor, the Taika Waititi sense of humor comes from. There is an innovation born of that isolation, which is a theme here in Australia as well, but I mean, we do our own version of that. The other thing too is, I mean, obviously we enable the teams not just to think about, what's a good piece of art, but what they can sell commercially and build their team and build a sustainable studio about that. And what that does in a community is that creates institutional knowledge, and we're very good at building this community, making sure that we hold them in New Zealand, and so they come along and mentor the next generation as well. So one of the big things that we're shifting to now is to build pay it forward mentorship into our structures. And then people were doing it before, we're just measuring it now. So it's all about that rising tide. So within Te Ao Māori, which is the Māori worldview, we all get there together. We all come as a community. If you get one of us, you get all of us.
I love that. And there's a fabulous diversity that we're noticing as well. So we are the Bargain Bin Gamers, Gaymers, and we do love to meet queer developers and queer creatives in the video gaming space. And there's certainly, you've got a lot of that going on, and not just in the queer community, but it seems to be a very diverse group you're bringing through in general. I'm imagining that's quite intentional.
It's just how it is. So we've got a country of 5 million people, right? We cannot leave people behind.
Absolutely.
So we over-index on helping women founders get in. Obviously very LGBT friendly. We're KPI'd on our Māori and Pacifica participation rates. But it's kind of built into what we do. Over half of Code's board is actually Māori. So we take that philosophy, it's hardwired into everything that we do. It's not an afterthought, it's an everything thought. And then of course, with a country of 5 million people, you have to make sure neurodivergent developers have a pathway. You have to make sure that anything that we can, physical ability, wherever possible, we try and facilitate that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I guess for any of our New Zealand listeners and viewers out there who may be wanting to get involved, how can they go about doing that?
So nz-code.nz is our website. Start there. There's an information email link. I'll answer your email because it comes to me. And then we've got our content managers across the country as well. We have full-time reps in Wellington and Auckland. And I typically manage a lot of the South Island stuff. We do look after Christchurch as well. But everywhere from Invercargill to Northland, you will be covered. And just come in and have a chat. Obviously, we are focused around commerciality, so we're not sort of an arts game company. However, it's surprising the teams that do find some success, and then, of course, then they have their art project that they want to work on as a sideline as well. So you can make those games when you've got money in the bank, right?
Of course.
So that's exciting too. And the other thing too is by default, because we're encouraging more Māori developers into the industry, we don't just have to make cultural content, but we are getting more cultural content made because, again, we've just encouraged them and we've brought them into the fold.
Yeah, well, there you have it. We'll include all of those links in the episode description right at the bottom on YouTube or on the podcast if that's where you are listening to this right now. V, you are doing fantastic work. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
And thank you so much for coming and spending the time here.
And we've got V coming up on the left-hand side.
And it's V for the win.
And we've got Memories Reached by Ben coming up first, and then after that it is How Was Your Day by Sam. She's point and clicking all over the place. And then we're saving some people on a deserted planet. It's Adaptory with Jevon. And then we're going to suck out your brains for productivity reasons. It's Jack from Middle Management.
Anyway, so
that was a fun little soundbite. We should use that.
Oh, I'm going to use that. That's a lot of fun. So that was V. I really loved talking to V, and I love the work that V was doing, just keeping everyone engaged in the booth as well, and helping the developers, go and talk to this person, go do this, Like, it was so cool.
Yeah,
one of my favorite things to see,
and it was just so fantastic to speak to someone queer who is making so many moves to push other artists forward. Like, it's not about them. It's not about code. Like, they were very much, like I said before, they're kind of the people behind the curtain, but they are doing such fantastic work, and they gave us free Whittaker's chocolate. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We
my
love it. So yeah, we're coming to the end of our PAX roundup. So let's do some overall impressions at the end of the day. How did you feel about our PAX experience overall?
I thought it was fantastic. I kept getting electrocuted by you the entire trip, which was really fun.
Oh my God. I was at the convention center again for something else later in the week. Same thing kept happening.
It's the carpet.
It's the carpet,
I know it.
or it's me.
Work on it. Melbourne Exhibition Centre. I accidentally zapped my nipple against Davey, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
But the overall review, I thought PAX this year was really fantastic, even if we did get evacuated.
Yeah.
The media-
Shout out though, if I can just jump in there. Shout out though to the staff during the evacuation. I know a lot of them are volunteers and all that kind of stuff. The enforcers, as they were called. A very calm and orderly evacuation.
Yeah.
It could have been a real code brown if they had not stepped up. I just want to make sure that we kind of call that out, right? Because I think that's really, really important. Everyone got out safely. No one was hurt.
It was very orderly.
It was very orderly, and the enforcers did a fantastic job and stayed calm and made sure we all stayed calm. Funny story though, apparently the firefighters who showed up, security didn't know if they should let them in because they weren't sure if they were cosplayers or not.
That makes sense. There were lots of people walking around in like tactical gear and stuff. I was like, how would you even know?
Yeah. So anyway, continue.
That was really fantastic. I always think the space is always really good. I think it was set up a little bit better this year than last year. It didn't feel as claustrophobic, and it didn't feel as corridory. It felt a little bit more like you could get between everything, which is really nice. I thought the general vibe and the atmosphere was really, really fun. Everyone was having such a good time. Everyone was really, really happy. I thought the games on display were really fantastic. I did think the food was far too expensive for what I got, especially because my sushi came with plastic in it that I had to pick out of it for $14. So thanks for that. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I had a blast. The only thing I would probably say upon reflection, and I'm sure you're going to touch on it more, is next time we go, because we're media now, I think we should probably plan out the trip a tiny bit more, because it meant that we were kind of working every day, and it meant that we didn't get to do too much off time. Yeah,
we had fun, but
we still had fun, but there was definitely no off-camera time where we could just be a little silly. So maybe next time we can weaponize our media passes a little bit better.
It'd be nice to go for a day and not have to take all the microphones and all that kind of stuff and just enjoy it.
Yes.
I was thinking that too. I was like, all right, next year we definitely have to go, all right, we take advantage of that media hour. We do all our media on that first day and then just, keep the equipment handy on the other 2 days. Because one thing I know we didn't really do is we didn't really go to any panels or anything like that.
We didn't have the time.
Yeah, and they're difficult to cover as well from a media perspective.
Yes.
Like we wanted to be interviewing people and all that, and I'm disappointed we couldn't do that because I've been to PAX before and been to the panels, and especially because you get so many by like really cool queer people and all that kind of stuff as well. It's a shame that we just couldn't get to go and experience that part of the event.
Yeah.
I will agree with you. The food inside the convention center hall, so expensive. Again, I was the same. I spent like $15 on like 6 little pieces of sushi. But and that's nothing that is exclusive to the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. You'll get that at any big event.
Shout out to the General Assembly.
The General Assembly and the Boat Builders Yard. Your delicious salmon.
And at the General Assembly, that hot British guy with blonde hair that works behind the bar that was kind of flirting with me, message me.
Yeah.
I'm serious. If you're watching.
If you're watching,
please.
and we know you are. Yeah. No, I agree. And I'll probably just wrap up by saying that I just think that PAX is just a fantastic, fabulous event. We are so blessed that since 2017 now we've been getting it in Australia, or maybe even earlier.
Probably, yeah.
We are, we have not. From like a gaming and like pop culture and nerd perspective, we have like other events like Supernova and all that kind of stuff, and they're really, really good. But like this international event, it's like one of the only ones in this area that actually comes to us here in Australia.
Yeah.
And there's clearly a market for it because it was sold out on the Saturday. There's tens of thousands of people there. The other convention or conference I was at the same center a few days later, I kept running into people who were just like, oh my God, you were at PAX. Like all of Melbourne was there, and it attracted so many international visitors too. I was talking to people at this other conference who were visiting from the US and Europe, and they were like, "Oh my God, PAX is here in Australia," and they bought tickets on the Sunday and went.
Yeah.
So kudos to PAX for continuing to support us here in Australia and to bring us this fantastic convention.
Yeah.
We love it.
I'm going to echo what Davey said. I think that we're very, very lucky and we're very blessed to have something like PAX. And obviously, please keep up the fantastic work. And thanks for having us, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Big shout out.
Just fine. Like, just us. Just us.
Just like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good times. It's good times. Well, we'll just have to wait for next year.
Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait. Well, that's pretty much it for us. That's our PAX recap. We hope you enjoyed it. And remember, there's lots and lots of extra content on YouTube and on our socials. Please go and check that out. And stay tuned for the double drop this week, which is going to be our little impressions or first impressions review of Pokemon Legends ZI. But until next time, I've been Davey.
And I've been Mitch.
And we've been the Bargain Bin Gamers.
The Bargain Bin Gamers coming up the inside and getting up your hip pocket. Don't you love it?
And don't forget, we utilize past tense apparently when we finish these videos now. We've been the Bargain Bin Gamers.
We've been the Bargain Bin Gamers and you love it.
What is that? We'll do that again.
Yeah.
We've been the Bargain Bin Gamers. The cigarette is Marlboro. Like in the 60s.
Double T Media.